You are my strength, strength like no other, strength like no other, and it reaches to me. You are my strength, strength like no other, strength like no other, and it reaches to me. Mm, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name. You lift me up. You lift me up. You are my joy, joy like no other, joy like no other, and it reaches to me. You are my joy, joy like no other, joy like no other, God, and it reaches to me. Come on, y'all. Hey, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Oh, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Hey, you are my peace, peace like no other, peace like no other, and it reaches to me. I said it reaches to the highest mountain, and it flows valley. Ooh, the love that gives me strength from day to day. It will never, never lose its power because you are my joy. Joy like no other, joy like no other, God, and it reaches to me. Good morning, everybody, and half late to the loop to the good morning. God bless all of you amazing kings and queens, wherever you may be residing today. I pray you are having a phenomenal day already, full of joy, full of the love of God. I bring you greetings from beautiful Florida, where we'll be speaking shortly for the great, amazing Alpha Mastery Live Conference with Myron Golden. And we're looking forward to having a great time. I'm looking forward to sharing with you all the many gems that we get there. Excuse me. Many gems that we get there with the outstanding speakers and the people from all over the world that's going to be sharing. Today, I want to talk to you about this idea, and that's the idea of being the same person all the time. You know, have you ever talked to somebody and they come in the room and then y'all start having a conversation, and then they leave out the room and they come back in the room and they're a brand new person, and you're like, oh man, did you just leave out of here and come back and you a whole different person than you were before? We just had this conversation. Or have you ever had somebody in the middle of a conversation with you and they turn into 5 or 6 different people right in the middle of the conversation? I'm talking about you wondering if you're talking to the same person or not. Well, today I'm gonna show you how to make sure that that's not you, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the reasons, at least, why people do this, so that we can avoid this type of behavior. Because brother, sister, when we show up, we should be the same person. But nobody should be trying to figure out who we are. We should not have an identity crisis. Are you hearing what I'm saying? People should be able to look at you and say, "That's a very stable individual. I can trust that person." They don't show up today with one attitude and show up tomorrow with another attitude. That's extremely frustrating to deal with people like that. Where I'm like, you know what? You're just not the same person. We had a conversation yesterday, and that's not what you said. That is not what you said. You're saying something different today. Why? Because my belief is that people are unstable because they don't have G's ability, which means Jesus' ability is what gives you stability. I just believe people just don't appreciate where they came from, because when Jesus started blessing you and you started getting money and fame and fortune or just any kind of come up, anything, any little prestige and all that sort of a thing. When Jesus, you got to remember, it's God that did this for me. A man is not judged by the heights that a man rises to, but a man is judged by the depths from which they come. Because anybody can act right as long as things are going their way. But some people just can't take a little bit of an elevation. I mean, something happens good, things get a little good, just going good for just a little while, and people start tripping. They start acting like they all in a bag of chips. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to show you a story in the Bible where this takes place, where Paul is about to confront Peter, because Peter is tripping. All right, Peter's tripping. He's trying to act. He's trying to run with the rabbits and hunt with the hounds. He not stable minded. All right, he is forgetting from whence he comes. He's forgetting the fact that he got this power and this might and this prestige. He's forgetting that Jesus gave it to him. And people don't like to give God credit, and people like to act like they did it when something happens good in a person's life and they start coming up. And I'm telling you, God is not with that. God is like, you need to be a stable person. You need some Jesus ability so that you can have some stability. All right. So Jesus come in and sober us up so that we'll be grateful for the gains that we have, grateful for the blessings that we have, grateful for the come up that we have. It's a blessing to come up. Come on now. It's a blessing to come up. It's a blessing to come up. I grew up extremely poor and eating mayonnaise sandwiches and broke from the projects. And the Lord brought us to come up. Some of my friends listen to me right here. They seen our come up. They know how we came up from out of being dead, broken, not having nothing to, being able to, move around the world. So it ain't nothing to get puffed up about, though. It ain't nothing to start popping your collar about. It should make us stable minded so that we can be the same person every time you see us. I used to love to watch Barry Sanders play football, because he was really good. I mean, extremely good. And he putting moves on folks, shaking people up, breaking ankles and everything. Getting the end zone, he just hand the referee the ball and line back up again, because your ability or your capability is what brings about your stability. And you know what I mean? I'm saying either you're stable because you're able. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But who made you able? Jesus passed his ability or his Jesus ability to me and you, and now we have stability. But when we leave or lose Jesus' ability, then we lose our stability, because it's God that made us stable. And as long as we give God that credit and keep him in his right place, we'll be stable-minded people. We'll be able to move all kind of mountains. See, God will do anything for us as long as we give him the credit. And people will do anything for you too, as long as you give them the credit. Be a stable-minded person. Don't be a glory hog. All right. Don't be stealing. Don't be wanting to steal thunder out. It's not necessary. I mean, the more you pass the ball to the next person, the more leverage you get. Are you hear what I'm saying? And Jesus, this is what he's trying to teach us today, and this is what Paul is about to teach Peter, because Peter about to get out of order. See, this is what happened when you go around and you establish kingdoms and you build up the kingdom of God and you build up companies and you build up dynasties. Somebody always gonna come in, player hating, trying to put a monkey wrench in the program all the time, without exception. Every single movement that's worth having will always have spies perpetrating frauds, snitches, sneaky, evil, corrupt folk don't always come up in your stuff. Don't act surprised. Okay, read the Bible and read history so that you understand that that's absolutely positively going to happen. It's the way you deal with it to make sure that you stabilize the situation. Today we're talking about being stable. We're talking about the ability to be the same regular basis, which means you're going to have to confront some folk and let some people know that the way that we're doing things around here, we was doing good before we met you. We're gonna be doing good if we don't ever see you again. So you won't come up in here making things and bringing all that chaos with you and making things unstable because we are stable-minded people. We give God the glory every day, and we ain't no respect of persons. All right, we love the Lord because He heard our cry and pity every groan. And because He's saved us and changed us and gave us this power and this money and this prestige, whatever it is that you might have, then you always give Him the credit for it. And then when people come in trying to usurp the fact that God is the reason that you are where you are, then you let them know that you are puny and God is big. You are small and God is large. And I'm very stable about that. So I don't care whether we have a relationship or not if it's going to disrupt this thing that we're doing with God. Why? Because God is the reason we got money. God is the reason we got companies. God is the reason we got dynasties. It's all about God, baby, up in here, all right? We don't want no credit up in here. And you're not going to come up in here doing what? Trying to steal God's thunder and His glory. Why? Because you want some credit that you ain't got coming. Are you listening to me? It's like this. You can't get no Benz with a 15 credit score. All right? That's what God is saying. He's saying, like, if you don't give me the credit, then you can't get the thing that it is that you want to get, because I'm gonna put a monkey wrench in that program, because God is like, I got to have stable people. God is like, I don't like wishy-washy people. He said, I wish you was hot or cold, because you lukewarm, I spit you out my mouth. This is what God is saying. He said, I don't like that. He said, and I'm not down with that. He said, I'm down with you being on one side of the fence or the other. Don't run with the rabbits and hunt with the hounds. So how does this come about? So here's Paul talking about to confront Peter. And watch what Paul says. This is in the book of Galatians, chapter 2, starting at verse number 1. He says, then 14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, he said, and I took Titus with me also. He said, with me also. He said, and I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel, which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. So Paul is like, he's like, look, I'm so interested in the gospel being passed until when I started talking to some of the Gentiles who didn't understand this thing about Jesus. He said, I talked to some of them in private, some of the ballers and the shot callers. He said, I talked to some of them in private so I can give them a chance to find out what this thing was about, because they was nervous. They don't understand this Jesus thing. They don't understand what's going on. They heard about the Jews squabbling over this man. They found out the Jews killed this man. And that, who is this man? This is the way the Gentiles was looking at things. The Gentiles believed in all kind of heathen gods and fake gods and stones and stuff, and bricks and things that they didn't turn into God. They don't know nothing about the God of heaven and earth. They just guessing and hoping and wishing, but they curious. They want to know who is this Jesus guy? What's that all? Paul said, I went to talk to some of them, but I kept it on the down low with them. He said, because they were nervous people. And I know how to deal with nervous folks, because I just want to get the gospel preached. I ain't tripping about trying to bust them out. All right. So he said, I went in private and I talked to some of them. He said, but neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. So he's about to confront Peter now, because they saying everybody need to be circumcised. Back in the day, they used to circumcise people. The Jewish people did. About the 8th day, you're supposed to be circumcised, way back with Abraham. So they were still trying to keep the traditions that they had, because they were unstable people, because Jesus had came and said, now the circumcision is not the foreskin of your penis no more. The circumcision is the foreskin of your heart. And the fact that you got rid of that stony, cold heart that you used to have, that's what it means to be saved. It means that He said, a new heart I'm going to give to you. He said, I'm going to write my laws upon your heart. And every man should not teach his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord. He said, because all going to know me, from the least unto the greatest. He said, because I'm going to put my law in your heart. Are you hearing me? See, it's a heart thing with God. That's what circumcision means. The fact that our cold, stony hearts have been discarded, and now we have a soft heart, so that we can do what? Serve God. I have a clean heart and serve Him. The Lord fixed my heart so that I may be used by worthy of all these blessings and I have a clean heart, and I'll follow him. Hallelujah. So because God gave us this clean heart, now we're able to follow him, and we know that he gave us the clean heart. So we don't start tripping, telling people they got to go through all these rituals. This is what Paul is telling Peter. He's like, look, Pete, he said, he's about to confront Peter at least. He said, Titus is with me. He's a Greek. Ain't nobody ever said nothing to him about getting circumcised. All right. Titus is a Greek. I ain't never said nothing. I ain't never stepped to him. So what's up with this? What? Instability. All right. See, if you want to be stable, you need to be Jesus able. All right. You need some Jesus ability to have some stability, because Jesus Christ will keep your mind right when you start dealing with people and people start coming up with all these traditions of men, things that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Excuse me. These things that don't have nothing to do with nothing and don't move the needle and ain't got nothing to do with the condition of the heart. You see, because if our heart ain't right, everything that we do don't matter. You know, all of our actions and stuff. He said, many gonna come to me in that day saying, Lord, didn't we do that? Didn't we do this? And didn't we do that in your name? And he's gonna say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Why? Because your heart can never change. All right. If your heart isn't in it, then it doesn't matter, you know, why you're doing what you're doing. So that's what my brother, my sister, that's what we want to work on. We want to make sure that we have a heart. See, then we won't be doing things to be seen, because it's unstable when you're doing things to be seen. You know, you hear what I'm saying? That's why people do that stuff. Why do people front and perpetrate? Seen. But why do you want to be seen? You want to be seen because the person got low self-esteem. Why does the person have low self-esteem? Because the person ain't capable. Why is the person not capable? They're not capable because they have replaced the grace of God with like works, replaced the grace of God with like prestige, want to have the favor and stuff of people. And I'm like, listen, when you got the favor of God, you automatically got the favor of all God's people. Are you hearing me? When you got the favor of God, you automatically have the favor of God's people. If you have the favor of God and you don't have a favor of a person, it's because that's not God's person. Did you hear what I said? I said, when you got the favor of God, but you don't have the favor of a human being, that's because the human being ain't got God's favor. You listen to me? So that means that you'd have to do what? You'd have to change favor, which means you'd have to change flavor. You hear what I'm saying? You have to give up the flavor of God to get what? The favor of man. Are you listening to me? You ever went into a restaurant and they just don't know how to cook? You hear what I'm saying? You just went in there and that stuff was bland as all get up. You're like, what in the world is it? Who made these peas? Are you hearing me? And you're like, they don't know how to put no flavor up in here. You know, they need some grandmama teaching up in this piece. Are you listening to me? That's why I feel so sorry for all the for this generation of people. I'm like, y'all ain't teaching the kids how to cook. Your mothers ain't teaching y'all daughters how to cook. Say that ain't her job to learn how to cook. Ricky. That's why she don't know how to cook. Right there, because you're a 32-year-old grandmama and you sitting up here with that old ghetto attitude. All right, teach your daughter how to cook. All right, teach her how to treat a man. All right, now put some flavor into some stuff. Got them eating them old dry beans. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You cook a meal good enough for us. Our paycheck just fall out of our pockets. You hear me? Go ahead and cook some Sweetwater cornbread. All right, with some cube steak and some extra gravy on top of the rice. All right, and bring that in the crib with it simmering. You dig what I'm saying? And let it marinate in the oven a little while too, sis. All right, don't bring me no microwave stuff trying to kill me. All right, grown men don't want no microwave stuff. We want some stuff that's been baking in that oven, baby girl. All right, so that's the way God is, though. He got flavor. You hear what I'm saying? Don't he have flavor? I said, don't he have flavor? I said, don't he have flavor? And God got some flavor right here. So when you turn down God's validation, that means that now you ain't got no flavor no more. So now you're dealing with old dry people. You know what I mean? Old dry folks and stuff. And so you feeling good because they saying yes, you in high esteem with them. I'm like, yeah, but you're in low esteem with God. All right, man, be in high esteem with God, and everybody's got some good sense. You'll be in high esteem with them too. So that's why Paul got this attitude that he got. He's a very stable man. Now watch what he says. He says, and that because of false brethren, he said, unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage. He says, so here comes some Jews, you did, false brethren, all right, who coming in with all this pompous behavior, all right, all this pompous behavior. See, that's the way America is. America has a lot of pompous behavior, traditions that have nothing to do with Jesus Christ, nothing to do with God, nothing to do with reality, and it comes from Washington D.C. That's why they pass the rules and laws and everything that they pass, because they are controlled by the Queen of England and by the Pope. And all you got is a bunch of rituals and that Catholicism stuff. All right, stand up, get up, turn around, start speaking Latin with a long robe on. You're like, what the hell is going on up in here? I don't understand none of that. What they got to do with me? All right, I came up in here to get me some God. All right, I came up in here to get this ghetto up out of me. I came up in here to get this world out of me. I came up in here to get this foolishness out of me. I came up in here to get this sin up out of me. I came up in here so I can get in touch with Jesus Christ. I came up in here to be redeemed. I came up in here to be changed. I came up in here to be converted. I didn't come up in here for no rituals. Are you hearing me? What the hell? You can do rituals at your crib. You can do rituals in the club. Are you hearing me? And when I was in the club, they was doing rituals. I was like, girl, drop down to get your eagle on, all right? I said, drop down to get your eagle on. That's a ritual. You can be in the club getting a ritual, and people can drop down, get their eagle on in the club, or you can be getting a ritual at church. Rituals are rituals no matter where you're at. It make no difference what building you in. Are you hearing me? It's just religious type of rituals instead of the just the straight up scandalous ghetto type rituals, but it's all ghetto. Why? Because it ain't moving the needle. Because God ain't got nothing to do with that crap. Are you hearing me? You better not waste your time at a church where you don't understand what's going on. You walk into the building and the dude get up with a long robe on, looking all sanctimonious, turn around, start lighting some candles, and then start speaking in a language you don't even understand. You mean you got time for that? You got time for that? You got time for that? You broke, poor, bad health, bad, trying to get your stuff together, hanging on by the skin of your teeth, and then you're gonna waste your worship time walking around with some foolishness where you don't even know what's going on. Are you hearing me? Playing, blaspheming around with God and all that kind of stuff. Like, you got time for that? Hey, this is the church of the living God around here, baby. Don't get it twisted. Okay? When everything we do it for a reason, intentionally. Why? Because we know we need the fullness of Jesus Christ every day, and we know every day is another day that we need to kill the flesh and live by the grace of God again. Every day, every day is a day of Thanksgiving. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Every day is a day of Thanksgiving. Every day. So Peter then lost his mind, and these dudes done snuck into the church. And they trying to tell everybody that they need to get circumcised. All right. Just unstable, just chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Double-minded, like I don't know what. The Bible didn't say it, and Jesus Christ didn't say it, and Paul ain't preaching it, and Peter know better. But what? Peter is what? He's concerned about what these cats think about him. I got a question for you today. Are you more concerned about what people think about you than you are what God thinks about you? Are you in the middle of some chaos right now? Are you following your followers? Are you following your leaders? See, Paul is a leader, okay? And Peter's a leader. But when these cats come in, they start following their followers. And I'm amazed at church people. Church people do this stuff all the time. People come around and they start meddling, and they start saying stuff and then you got all kind of gossip and nonsense going on. This little trick faggot nonsense. Are you hearing me? This man is a man of God. All right? He's supposed to have some balls. He ain't supposed to be letting these dudes come in here and start saying what they want to say. Peter, I'm talking about. Okay? But he's an unstable person, even though he done been with Jesus. He was sitting over, he was over there trying to act like he didn't know who Jesus was. You dig? When Jesus got killed. And but Pete done been through hell. I hear him, he cut some dude's ear off and all this sort of thing. But something happened to Pete. He lost his balls somewhere. All right, they say, stop saying balls, Brother Ricky. Change the station, okay? All right, this is real talk over here. Over here, we talk about how a man's supposed to act. All right, we're not no little sissies and punks over here. Okay, we ain't no respected person. We don't care what you think. All right, we're just telling you what's right. You can do what's right if you want to. You do whatever you want to do. All right, but over here, you're not going to hear this nonsense. Okay, why? Because it's serious business. This is our life. We ain't going to get no second life, and we can't be running around living our life all unstable, not making the money we're supposed to make, not having the influence we're supposed to have, not blessing the people we're supposed to bless. Why? Because we're so worried about what some little chicken head came up in the camp talking about. Man, carry your chicken head up out of here and kabak somewhere else. Are you hear what I'm saying? So we ain't having it. So I love Paul, because Paul's attitude was like, man, please. He said, you know what he said about him? He said, they're trying to bring us back into bondage. He said, to whom we gave place by subjection. No. He said, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. Paul said, we played them marks off. You hear me? He said, we played them little poop butts off. We let them little religious folk coming up in here talking about you got to get circumcised again. We're like, brother, ain't nobody got to get circumcised no more. We ain't got to be having all up in here chopping men's penises off. That ain't got nothing to do with the church of God. All right, that's some ritual stuff that we used to go through back in the day But Jesus Christ then came and changed the heart, bro. All right. So all that ritual stuff, that all the stuff the high priest used to do and all of that, it was just for show. So God wouldn't kill people because it's always got to be a shedding of blood for sin. You say, but now Jesus Christ came and shed his blood one time for sin. We ain't got to be chopping on ourselves no more. All right. Not for the sake of being in touch with God. If you want to get certain health reasons, that's your business. But it don't make you no closer to God. Just like none of the other rituals that people are doing make them close to God. A ritual don't mean nothing to God. What means something to God is a broken spirit and a contrite heart. Oh God, thou shalt not despise. Are you hearing me? So Paul is like, hey man, get your shenanigans together over here. All right. Y'all not gonna come up in here with all that chaos in your camp, talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the gospel. Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus Christ. Ain't got nothing to do with what moved the needle. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You got to check folk when they bring that witchcraft into your joint. Are you hearing me? Because it ain't nothing but witchcraft, man-made stuff. I'm like, it ain't no scriptures to back up what you're talking about. All right. So that's just your personal fetishes. So don't bring that mess up in here. Why? We're not having that. We're doing good over here. We're having a great time with God. Are you hearing me? People getting saved, folks getting delivered. We're having a wonderful time. People living this life. Are you hearing me? And we ain't gonna start backing up for you because you show up what? Because you think you got some prestige or something like that. Because you're an unstable person, but you're not going to bring that instability around here because one bad apple, it spoil a whole bunch. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? One bad apple. Oh yeah, it's spoil. They something talking about one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl. Don't you believe that? One bad apple can mess up the whole bunch. That's why every time you see a bad apple, you deal with it and you take it off the tree and then you what? And you trample it up under your feet. So when people come around you and they got that nonsense in them and they trying to cause havoc in the camp, you address that stuff just like Paul did. He said, hey man, he said, we're not having it. He said that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. He said, but of these, he said, we ain't getting no place to them, none. He said, not for an hour. He said, but of these who who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, he said, it maketh no matter to me. He said, but these who seem to be somewhat, in other words, because some cats think they all that in the bag of chips. He said, I don't even know where they come from. He said, I don't even know who these cats was. He said, you know what? Don't even make me no never mind. He said, why? Because they some poop butts. He said, ain't nobody. All right. he said, he said, he said, it make no matter to me. He said, because God don't accept no man's person. He said, for they who seem to be somewhat in compass, he said, they didn't add nothing to me. See, this is why your ability creates your stability. Because I'm telling you how to be the same person every day. All right. Paul is like, they didn't add nothing to me. Okay. So when people come around you and they try to act like they all in the bag of chips, but you really know the words yourself, then you ain't impressed with them. You're like, what? So they start talking about something. You're like, bro, that's third grade stuff. All right. I know these scriptures like the back of my hand. See, this ought to be you. All right. You should know the Bible. So when people come around you and they start trying to drop some game and all that, you're like, that ain't in the Bible nowhere. You made that crap up. All right. Give me some scriptures. Give me some books. Give me some verses. All right. All right. Let's go. All right. And then you hit them in the head with 35 scriptures for every one they give you. Why? Because you're serious about this thing. This is your life. This is how you get down. All right. So when they come around you and they come around that little weak stuff, it's like a pitcher throwing a fastball up there, but ain't nothing but 35 miles an hour. And you cracking that stuff out the park. You like, he think he throwing a fastball, but he playing softball with you. Right, because you know the scriptures. That's why the Bible says, study the scriptures, all right, to show thyself approved, a workman that need to not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Meaning what? That means that when people come up to you and they start talking to you, trying to pour some pee on your head, you say, bro, I know this. I know the stench of that smell. That ain't the Bible. All right, that's you making up some stuff, trying to justify your position and come up in here because what? You want some authority up in here, but you ain't nothing happening. And people do that stuff all the time. They come up in your camp where you done created a business, where you done help create a ministry, where you help create movements, and people come up in your camp, but they a little lazy, but acting like they important. Are you hearing me? But the God ain't no respected persons, and don't you be either. All right. So Paul is like, he said, man, they didn't add nothing to me. All right. And when people can't add nothing to you, tell them to get in the wind. Tell them to bounce. All right. You don't bring nothing to the table. Okay, so what? So get to stepping, okay? What you do is you go back and get something and bring some punch to the party, sacrifice the body for the program, baby, and then we can get down. All right. But other than that, move around and get up out of here, all right? Because we're not having it. All right. Why? Because we was doing good before you came. See, your stability is based on your capability. All right. What is your capability? Your capability is when you put a cape on your ability. All right. Your capability. That means that you super able to do something. And when you super able to do something and people come around, you was doing good before you met them because you put your work in. And so when they come in and they try to act like they're important, I'm like, why are you important? You don't bring nothing to the party. Why are you important? You ain't moving the needle. Why are you in what? Because you showed up. So that's supposed to make you important. What? So now I'm supposed to what? Bow down to you. You're supposed to be more important than the movement, more important than God, more important than God. I mean, who the hell you think you are? All right, ain't nothing happening. That's what Paul told these marks when they came up in there. He's like, man, ain't nobody paying you no attention. You ain't add nothing to the equation. And you better have the same attitude in your companies and your businesses and in everything you do. In marriages, all kind of stuff. You meet people and they trying to act like they so important and stuff like that. I'm like, based on what? Okay. You go into a business deal with somebody and they try and act like they're important in a business deal. I'm like, based on what? We're not going to make no more money because of you. So you are what? You are discardable. Matter of fact, get gone. Why are you still standing around here? Okay. Why? Because the Bible says in malice be a child, but in business be a man. Throw some people out. Okay. Paul, like we threw these punks up out of here. We let them know, man, you ride, out, ride, out, ride, out, ride. All right. Why? Because you're bringing confusion up in here. You're telling people they got to be circumcised. They do not have to be circumcised. Jesus Christ changed the heart, and these men, we don't have to send them through these rituals to circumcise them. But all the y'all little phony stuff that y'all doing, all these little traditional things that y'all going through, it ain't necessary for nobody to be saved. So we're not having it. All right. So he checked them and told them move around. He said, but contrary wise, listen to this. He said they couldn't add nothing to me, so I told him to get the step. And he said, but contrary wise, when they saw that the gospel of uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. In other words, Paul is like, it's for me to go talk to the Jews and it's for me to go talk to the Gentiles, and it's for Peter to spread the gospel to the Jews. So that was their two callings. Okay, so one thing for you to be stable is you need to know your calling. All right. I'm talking to you today about how to be the same person all the time. All right. So one thing is that don't meddle. Don't meddle in a calling that you don't have. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Listen, my brother. Listen, my sister. Let me say this with all the love I can muster up. Stay in your lane. Okay. First of all, know what your lane is. You know, when you meet people and they say, Brother Ricky, I don't even know what my lane is. I don't even know what purpose I'm in. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like hogwash. Okay. Ain't nowhere in the world God ain't told you what you're supposed to be doing. I don't believe that. Okay. What I believe is that you don't want to do what's in your lane. And that's why you confused about what you're supposed to be doing. Because God is no respecter of person. He said, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God. He said, who giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not. In other words, ain't no respect of persons. In other words, God gives to everybody liberally the wisdom they're supposed to have to know what you're supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be doing. Ain't nobody guessing about that. Everybody knows what lane you're supposed to be in. All right. What if you ask from God the wisdom for it? But the Bible said we have not because we ask not. So if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, it's just because you just didn't ask God. So you can change that right now. You can get on your knees and say, hey, Lord, what should I be doing? I remember when my mama got saved. We went over to the house because my brother Donnie had took some drugs, some CIs, and drank some syrup, and he was tripping. So when we got over there, we started praying for him and stuff. He acted like he didn't know who we was. So we took him to the hospital, and he saw them straight jackets, and they was like, "Hey, Donnie, do you recognize your little brothers?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's my brother Ricky and my little brother Jerome." He saw them straight jackets. He got some act right. You hearing me? I don't know what happened when he saw them straight jackets. We didn't care because we all about results. We just happy that he got his mind back right because some people when they take them hallucinatory drugs, they don't never come back right. Y'all know it. You got a brother like that, a sister like that, a cousin like that, an uncle like that, and just thank God it ain't you. All right. Why? You know somebody who took some drugs, they ain't never come back right. All right. They took one hit. Next time you saw them, they was tripping and scratching and laughing and giggling, and they ain't never been the same since. Okay. You know people like that. Okay. Thank God. And sometimes you took a drug and thank God it didn't happen to you. Thank God it didn't happen to me. I know I took some drugs that had me hallucinating, and thank God I'm here to talk to you today because it ain't nothing but grace and mercy. And I'm here talking to you today ain't because of me. It's because of grace and mercy and amazing grace and amazing mercy and amazing mercy. And I'm happy to be alive. I'm a grateful man. How about you? Are you grateful? See, I'm not delusional. I know Jesus Christ saved me. Do you know who saved you? Do you know why you're alive? Do you know why you got any sense? Do you know why you walk in the face of the earth? Do you understand your purpose? You can't start popping your collar and thinking you all that in a bag of chips because it's Jesus' ability that gave you your ability. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Jesus' ability is what gave you your ability, and Jesus' ability what gave me my abilities. And we can't never forget that. We can't never be talking about, we all that. Are you hearing what I'm saying? We should be singing a song. Jesus, I'll never forget what you done for me. Jesus, I'll never forget how you set me free. Jesus, I'll never forget how you brought me out. Jesus, I'll never forget. No, never. Listen, I'll never forget what Jesus done for me. You hear me? Never forget what Jesus done for me. Why? Because he's a great God. And falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I've ever done in my life. How about you? Falling in love with Jesus. I'm falling in love with Jesus. It's every day for me. I don't know about you, but I'm falling in love with Jesus, and it is the best thing I've ever done. I don't know about you, but falling in love with Jesus, best thing ever happened to me. Matter of fact, I fall in love with him every day. I'm like, Lord, I love you. The Bible say, kiss the Son. Are you hearing me? I wake up in the morning and say, you know what, Lord? Thank you again, Jesus. You're so good. You're so mighty. You're so wonderful, saving a wretch like me again today. And I'm so grateful for you, Lord. All right, how about you? If you're grateful, put grateful in the chat. Come on, let's go. Are you grateful today? Grateful for the things that you have done. I'm all right. So where we at? He said, but contrary wise, when they saw that, okay, so Paul said, listen, I'm preaching to the Gentiles, and Peter is preaching to the Jews. Come on, put some gratefuls in the chat, because I know y'all grateful around here. Put some gratefuls in the chat. Build up the atmosphere right here so we can learn, so we can finish learning this lesson today. He said, and when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, he said, perceive the grace that was given unto me. They gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision. He said, so what? He said, not only am I preaching to the Gentiles, he said, but the brothers gave me some props. All right. He said they gave me the right hand of fellowship. They was like, look, Paul, you are called to go talk to the Gentiles. Peter, we and James and us over here, we called to talk to the Jews. All right. He said, so we all agree with that, right? And then they say, okay, cool. So he said, let me give you the right hand of fellowship. It might look like my left hand right here because when you look at the screen, it look different, but trust me, it's my right hand. He said, let me give you the right hand of fellowship, bro. He said, let me give you some dap. I don't know how they used to shake hands back there in the Bible days, but I don't know. But I got a feeling they was like, dap, bro. Paul said, they gave me some dap. They said, go ahead on, man, and preach to the Gentiles. He said, we're going to preach to the Jews. He said, so everybody agree with this. We all gave each other some dap, right? Can I get some dap from y'all right now? Put dap in the chat for me. Can I get some dap from y'all right now? Can I get some dap on this message this morning? Because we praising God up in here this morning. Can I get some dap? Just put DAP. I don't know how you spell dap. Just put, can a brother Ricky get some dap up in this piece? DAP. Can I get some dap? I don't see it on here. Can I get some dap? Where y'all at? Can I get some dap? DAP. Hurry up. I ain't preaching no more until I get some dap. Can I? Thanks, Brother Ken. God bless you, bro. Appreciate you, Joyce. Appreciate you. Sebastian, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you, Devin. Thanks for that dap. All right. All right. All right. Thank you, C, for the dap. Let's go here. Give your brother some dap. Right on, John. I take some of that dap from you, too. All right. So Paul said, y'all gave me some dap. And I was like, man, I'm the one preaching to the Gentile, to the heathens. All right. All right. So they all agree with this. He says, only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was for to do. He says, so the only thing that they told us to do was just remember the poor. He didn't say go out circumcised with nobody. He didn't say go out having no rituals and none of that. He said, this is what Jesus told everybody to do. Feed somebody that's hungry, clothe somebody that's naked, and visit the sick and the prisoner in their affliction. He says, so that's what you're supposed to be spending your time on. Excuse me again. He said, that's what you're supposed to be spending your time on. He says, so that's all they told us to do. Just go on out and preach this great, beautiful, wonderful, incredible, life-changing gospel to people. And then what? Remember the poor. He said, your job done, bro. All right. He said, all right, give me some dap on that. All right. So they gave him some dap. And he said, that's all y'all told us to do. He said, but when Peter was come to Antioch, he said, I withstood him to the face because he was to be blamed. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here comes old Peter in. And Peter is what? Unstable. Well, I'm talking to y'all today about how to be the same person all the time. Because Peter ain't acting right. All right. So when you and your brothers get together and your sisters get together and y'all all agree about how you're going to do something, all right, everybody got an agreement, okay? So Just give each other some dap. All right. I gave you some dap. Gave you some dap. Okay. Now we all agree with this. Now, when you come back doing something different, oh no, we got problems now. All right. Why? Because we just gave each other some dap. We just all agreed that we're gonna do it this kind of way. See, this is what's wrong with unstable people. Because it's like, didn't we already have this conversation? And they're like, well, what really happened? No. Didn't we already have this conversation? All right. Okay. Didn't we give each other some dap on this conversation? Why are we talking about the same thing again then? All right. That's what my message is today. My message is to teach you how to be the same person. Because God is the same person, He wants you to be the same person. He don't want us to be meeting each other and having a meeting to have a meeting. Are you listening to me? We don't want to have meetings to have meetings, okay? You're running businesses, you're running companies. I run my own businesses. So when we have a meeting and I tell everybody what to do, I'm not telling you again. Why? Because we already had a meeting. We're not going to have a meeting to have another meeting because what? It's unstable. We can't get our goals and everything accomplished in business and in life if we got to keep talking about the same thing. Something ain't right. There's a disconnect somewhere, a lack of humility somewhere. It's some narcissistic behavior going on. Somebody got a hard head when you got to have a conversation twice about the same thing. Listen to me. You work for somebody right now. You're working with somebody right now. They're your boss. All right. They have authority over you and you signed up for it. Okay. So when you come to the meetings and your boss tell you what to do, he better not have to tell you again, or she better not have to tell you again. Why? Because you out of order with God. You got an unstable mind. And what I'm telling you is that you ain't gonna never be in a position to give nobody no orders. You ain't gonna never be in a position to train anybody. You ain't gonna never be in a position to make no money. You ain't gonna never be in a position to call no shots unless you learn how to let somebody until you learn how to let somebody teach you. Okay? Meaning that you should be eager to carry out whatever the order was that you got. Are you listening to me? The way that you get rich is you learn how to take orders. How you hear what I'm saying? That's how you get rich. You learn how to take orders, and then eventually you learn how to give them. But you can't learn how to give orders until you learn how to take orders. And when you come into a meeting, into a room with millionaires, we're not having no two meetings with you. Okay? We're gonna tell you what to do. And then it's up to you to remember what we said, not up to us to tell you what we said. I don't know what's wrong with people. What make a person think somebody should be talking to them 5 and 6 times about the same thing? That is narcissistic behavior. Are you listening to me? That is not the gospel of Jesus Christ. Humility is I'm sucking up everything you told me right then and there. I got an ink pen out. I got a pad out while you're talking. What? I'm gonna listen to what you said. I'm gonna write it down because it's my responsibility, not your responsibility. And if I don't think I understand what you said, because you the boss, the bills, I'm gonna make sure that I found out what you said. You don't have to tell me 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it all mixed up and discombobulated and all that sort of thing. Why? Because I owe it to you. Because I accept money from you. I accept your paycheck. And what? I gotta help make you a stable. It's my job as your what? Your subordinate to help make you a stable person. Are you listening to me? You have to appreciate being a subordinate before you can appreciate being a leader. You ain't gonna never be a leader until you're a subordinate. Are you listening to me? And you gotta do it. What? You gotta be stable minded when you listen to a person. They know what you don't know. They have what you don't have. They teaching you what you couldn't have gotten unless they taught you. And it ain't time for you to be talking back. It ain't time for you to be meddling. It ain't time for you to be yak. Nobody want to hear all that. Okay, you're gonna end up getting fired, and somebody gonna take your place. That's what's gonna happen because everybody replaceable. Are you listening to me? Unstable people, they're a headache. Are you listening to what I'm talking about? Because you got to tell them the same thing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. They move too slow. In the Bible, the gospel teaches harmony. The gospel teaches accelerated growth. The Bible teaches massive gains and success, largeness, hugeness. You'll never have a large company, a large business with a bunch of hard-headed people. That ain't gonna never happen. So fire them, okay? Right. Do like Paul did when he comes over here and talk to Peter. He let Peter know, man, you out of order. All right. Okay, brother, you out of order. Watch what he says to Peter, okay? And you got to do the same thing. You ain't finna run this, you ain't finna have no kingdom, no church, no nothing sitting around here with these hard-headed people, these unstable folk in your camp. Why? Because what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna end up being unstable too. If you accept that stuff. Are you listening to me? So departing with people ain't no big deal. Are you hearing me? When you depart with chaos, all you did was unite with what? With wisdom and clarity. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Every time chaos leaves, clarity shows up. Are you listening to me? Don't y'all too worried about the wrong thing. You worried about the unstable person and how much how they feelings are and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you're gonna end up being unstable just like them. Are you listening to me? This is business. This is God. This is the kingdom of God. This ain't no joke. So when people show up, they better show up and they better show up and be the same person. Are you hearing me? Well, coming up around you, they got 8 different spirits in them. I'm like, I don't know who am I talking to today? Because me and you had this conversation already. Okay. And why am I having the same conversation with you again? What makes you think I'm going to waste my time having the same conversation with you more than once? Who do you think you are? What makes you, who do you think? What kind of fake humility is that? All right. But what? It's because you didn't want to do what we said in the first place. So you fake like you agree with it, or you was half listening. All right. When you half listening, you are not a stable person. People have big fat ears like mine. See these? Whack, 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 whack. That was a joke. Y'all better put a smiley face in there. I know I got big ears, but I got big ears, period. All right. Because I be hearing what people be saying. Are you listening to me? You know why we rich? You know why we make so much money? Because the way that we teach people, by the way, I'm about to have a sales class today at 11:30. I'm hiring salespeople. All right. So for all of y'all who thinking interested in learning how to sell, I teach you how to sell to make millions. So if you want to learn how to come and sell to make millions, I'm having a class today. Today, Tuesday, at 11:30. All right. It's all over the internet. You say, where? How do I do it? I think you just put sales. If you're on Instagram, just put sales in a DM, and it automatically pop up. If you ain't on Instagram, I don't know if I got it on my YouTube channel. The social media people got this stuff out. But today, I'm having a class today. We talking today. What's the day? Today is the 13th of May. Yeah. Okay. So we're having a class today at 11:30. And I've never done this. I'm opening up to the whole public to come to my class. It's a free class. And we're going to be hiring some people. What we're going to be doing is partnering with some people. All right. You're going to have some skin in the game for me to teach you, da, 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 da. But I'm going to teach y'all for some real cheap prices like I don't normally charge people to come in and learn what it is that we're doing. So if you don't want to come over and like learn what we're doing, and if you're thinking that you just want to come and you don't want to like pay no money, don't come to the class. Don't even waste your time. All right. It's not going to be no lot of money, but you're going to have to pay me. Way less than $50,000 an hour like I normally charge people. Listen, when we teach you how to sell and you go do what we do, you make a lot of money. All right. If you do what we do, you'll make a lot of money. If you do what we do, you'll make a lot of money because the way that we talk to people is not like the way the world talk to folks. We got a kingdom selling method that's pretty much different from every other selling method on the whole planet. All right. For example, we don't have leads. Okay. People say a lead. We don't have leads. We don't even use that terminology. Okay. Well, we have our time customers and what we have our money paying customers. All right. Like right now, you my customer right now. Okay. You say, why you say that, Brother Ricky? Because you're listening to me. All right. Meaning that you're spending your time. See, spending money and spending time is all spending. I respect people who spend their time with me. So that's why I give you amazing things to go do with your time if you don't never spend a dollar. Why? Because I respect your time. I ain't gonna be out here hee-hawing around and you're gonna hear some stuff from me that you hear from everybody else. You ain't getting no refried beans over here, baby. All right. When you come around here, you hear fresh revelations that God give us every day because God is a fresh revelation God. You hear what I'm saying? And it's my pleasure to be able to give you the fresh revelation so you can use it in your life and what? And get paid and get rich and make money if I don't ever meet you. Why? Because I respect your time. If you come over to my sales class, what I'm gonna teach you is how to have time customers. I'm gonna teach you the mammoth thinking and the massive productivity of a man and a woman who looks at another man and a woman like a human instead of a lead. I don't even like them terms. We don't use them. All right. We don't have leads, lead magnets. What is that? A magnet for a lead. What is it? You a human being. All right. You deserve to be treated like a human being. I'm a human being. I deserve to be treated like a human being. All right. So when I meet people, I'm like, man, if you spend 1 second with me, you became my client. You already my client. All right. You don't have to spend money with me to be my client. If you spend time with me, you're my client. Now, if it leads towards you spending some money, wonderful. If it doesn't, wonderful. Because what? I did my duty by giving you my time to help you do better things with your life because you spent your time with me. And that's what I teach people. So if you come to my class, I'm gonna show you how to leverage yourself so that you can sell our products that we do, but you'll be able also to sell your own products because you're going to learn so much from selling our products until you can make a whole lot of money. All right. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars, and without hardly talking at all to people. See, our strategy is not like people. We don't have closers. Why? Because we don't need you to be closing nobody. That means what? That you when you close something, that means it's over. You see, we have a different philosophy. We don't think like the world do. All right. Closing, that ain't even a good term. Closing a sale. No, 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 no. You open relationships. You don't close sales. Are you hearing what I'm saying? When I close a sale with you, that means I'm through with you. Are you hearing me? Yeah. Like we just got $1 million check. Shantae did on one of our trusts. Just got $1 million check. So some people gonna be like, oh man, and y'all got $1 million check? Man, I want to get back in the game with you. I'm like, no, but that sale is closed. All right. Why? Because if you was in business with me before we got a check, and then after we get a check, now all of a sudden you want to run back around and try to do some business with us. Why? That's too bad. That's too bad for you. All right. Why? Because that sale is closed. When we close sales, that means we through with people. All right. When we open relationships, that's because we open relate. See, y'all terminology ain't right. Okay. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This is the kingdom. This ain't the world. We different from the world. The way the world think is the world thinking about money. The world is thinking about money. Not that money's not a real motivator, but when I'm talking about the world, look at people like cash registers. That's why they make these terms up. Hey, can I see? I want to close a sale. How many leads did you get? So if you want to learn how to sell from a kingdom perspective, if you want to learn how to sell the way Jesus sold, if you want to learn how to sell the way the Bible teaches, if you want and get rich, super rich, make a whole lot of money too. All right. If you want to learn all of that and do it the way God does it, then come to class. All right. So you say, where's the link? I don't have no link. Hey, Kenny, send a message and ask me, can he come on here and put a link on Facebook for me? Can you do that, please? Let me see if I can get my the young man that works with me put the link in there. But if you're on Instagram, just go to my DM, not here. Go to the DM and put in sales. Now, if you put a DM on here after I told you that, then I know that you ain't ready to sell nothing because right. Yeah, so you come to class, the sales class. Yeah. So if any of y'all want to come to sales class, come on. All right. Okay. So let's finish this lesson up. That class is in. You can put it in YouTube too. Yeah, tell them to put it everywhere so everybody can come. Anybody want to come? All right. All right. Y'all like it? Do y'all appreciate that? Y'all appreciate coming to learn how to y'all appreciate that? I wonder how this green over here. All right, there we go. All right. So if y'all appreciate that, put yes in the chat. Y'all appreciate the idea of coming in and learning how to sell without all this without calling people leads and y'all want to learn a new way to sell so you can actually make some money instead of wasting a whole bunch of time. We don't do no cold calling. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, we don't do no cold calling. All right. We don't do no cold calling at all. Why? We don't have to. Why? The reason we don't do no cold calling is because I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who answer my ads on a regular basis because they want to learn this and learn that about what we do. Some of them come to class, some of them don't, but they all need to be talked to. So if you come to my class, I'm gonna teach you how to call people who already want to talk to us. Okay, they already want to talk to us. They already want to do business at some level. At least they have made some indication that they do. And then what I'm gonna teach y'all is how to call people and just simply ask them how can we help them. And then if they decide they want to join and do something, you're gonna make commissions for it, and you ain't even do no selling. All you did was just more like customer service. All right. So our selling is more like customer service than it is selling. All right. Now I ain't got time to break. Like we gotta finish this lesson, okay? All right. Y'all come to class and I'll break down how all that goes. All right. All right. So excuse me. He says, to whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour. He said, but of these who seem to be somewhat, he said they couldn't add nothing to me. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of uncircumcision was committed unto me as the gospel of Peter, he said, I'm sorry, so let's keep going. He said, and when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen and they unto the circumcision. All right. He said, and when James, Cephas, and John, James, John, and Peter, Jesus' number one disciples, he said, who seemed to be pillars. Now, that's what I love about Paul. Paul said, I thought these cats was cold blooded. He said, they seem to be pillars, you know. He said, what is a pillar? A stable person. We're talking today about how to be stable all the time, be the same person all the time. He said, so I thought James, he said, if I thought anybody had some sense, it was James Johnson, James, John, and Peter. He said, these cats kicked it with Jesus, point blank. All right. I mean, they was right with the Savior. I ain't get he's Paul, like I ain't get that shot. All right. He pimp slapped me off my horse and knocked me out. That's how me and him got together. He said, but these guys was right with him, you know. He said, so I thought for sure these are some stable brothers. So he said, so watch happen. He said, only they would that we should remember the poor. He said, but when Peter was coming to Antioch, I withstood him to the face because he was to be blamed. He said, so Paul was like, look, the way we're going to do this, the way we're going to run this kingdom, the way that we're going to build up God's kingdom is we're not going to respect nobody's person. So I don't care who you are and what kind of status you're supposed to have. All right. Either do right or either pee or get off the pot. All right. And all of us should be approachable where somebody can approach us and tell us that's some unstable behavior. Should be able to approach each other without what? Getting your head all chewed off. You hear what I'm saying? Without what? Somebody acting like they some type of gangster or something like that. Because ain't nobody above being checked. Ain't nobody above being corrected. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you listening to me? Because sometimes I can get unstable, sometimes you get unstable. It's possible that can happen to anybody. The Bible says, if any man stand, let him take heed lest he fall. But what I'm telling you all is that the way that this church behavior, this religious behavior that you see displayed on a regular basis, it's got so much chaos inside of it because people think because they held in high esteem by people that you can't come and say nothing to them. And I'm like, smoking some Snoop Doggy Dogg weed. Paul, like, I don't care who you are. He said, I went straight up to Peter and confronted him and let him know, hey, man, you out of order. You are unstable. What was he out of order about? He said, and the other Jews, he said, disassembled likewise with them, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with that dissimulation. He said, you know why I want to check them? He said, because everybody acting a fool now. All right. He said, I had to check Pete because Peter's starting an insurrection around here. Peter's got people what? Following him. They ain't following Jesus. I hear me. Peter got people tripping. He got the Jews acting like you got to be circumcised to be saved. And he like, man, that ain't got nothing to, Jesus didn't say that. How you gonna be running around preaching something Jesus didn't say? What, make up your own stuff? What? For your own reasons. It's just that Peter's just a coward at this point. So he's telling everybody they got to be circumcised to be saved because that's what the circumcision is saying. That's what the old Pharisees are saying and the Sadducees are saying. The people, Peter and Paul, the same folk they've been checking, now he's going to get in cahoots with them. Are you hearing them? Do you understand how bipolar that kind of behavior is? And that's why God is not down with this unstable, churchy type behavior that people be having. You ain't never seen gangsters like church gangsters. You hear me? When I was in the streets, I expected folks to be acting fool. Why? Because it was, I'll get you before you get me. What? That's why I grew up shaking the red card, tricking folks out their money, because I was like, I'm going to trick these tricks before these tricks trick me. All right? I played games, you ain't had no chance. You ain't had no chance of winning. Why? Because I don't believe in luck. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why I got saved, because I ain't finna try to get lucky to go to heaven. I'm like, I need some real juice to get up out of this joint. Are you hear what I'm saying? So and stop trying to be nickel slick with folk and serving people instead of trying to get, you ain't got nothing I want. So that's why I love about Paul. Paul is like, man, you ain't got nothing I want. Are you hearing me? He like, God give me everything I want. So you ain't got nothing I want. So Paul can look you right in the eye and tell you how he really felt about you. Why? Because he didn't care what you thought. Because it's like, you can't break me because you ain't make me. Because I love you too much to tell you something than to tell you some phony stuff to try to smooth up to you. Are you hearing me? Why? Because if you get together with unstable people and you don't check them, you're gonna be unstable too. Are you hearing me? Are you listening to me? You say, Ricky, I wish you talk nice when you come on your station sometimes. I am being nice. I'm being nice right now because the person that love you, they'll tell you to your face what's up. Because the kisses of an enemy, the wounds of a friend, they better than the kisses of an enemy. Because the enemy's always kissing your butt. Why? Because they kissing your butt because they got a knife in your back. That's why. You're like, what in the world was that? I was just getting some sugar. Right, she was getting some sugar, but there were some demonic kisses. Right, well, that's why you can't let people stroke you. They be stroking you, man, please. They got a knife in your back right while they stroking you. But if you already down, like if you get down without a frown, if you ain't new here, you grew here, if you funny but you ain't no joke, then you don't let people do that to you because you don't need their approval no way. All right, so Paul is like, I don't care if this caused no trouble between me and Pete. I'm finna check Pete because Pete out of order. All right. He said, so Pete, you out of order, bro. All right. He said, and it is what it is. Okay. He said, but when they saw that, he said, but when I saw that they walk not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before all of them, he said, thou being a Jew, livest after the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews. Why compellest the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? All right, let me run it by you one more time. He say, I said unto Peter. He said, and I said it in front of everybody too. He said, man, he said, thou being a Jew, livest after the manner of the Gentiles. All right, he said, Peter, you doing stuff the Gentiles do because God already told Peter in a dream to not call unclean what God made clean. So he'd already told Peter that in a dream because Peter met a dude named Cornelius. And he had this dream about the fowls in the air. And in a dream, he said he was eating some stuff that God, that they normally don't eat as Jews. And God is like, some days is over, man. I don't care nothing about what you eat. I don't care. It ain't what goes into you that defiles you. It's what comes out of you that defiles you. Now, I'm telling y'all that it ain't good for y'all to pay attention to some of the foods that you eat for your health purposes. What I'm saying is that you ain't holy because of the food you eat. All right. You can eat all the ribs you want, go to heaven. Hey, listen to what I'm talking about? Or you can eat all of the good food you want, still go to hell. That don't mean nothing to God. All right. And you better stop making up stuff that ain't in the Bible. It's checking that spirit right here, right now, that sanctimonious, self-righteous spirit about your traditions and all that sort of thing. It's checking that right here. He telling Peter, he said, you out of order, bro. You telling people that what? That they got to be circumcised in order to go to heaven. And you out of order because you live just like a Gentile, but you want the Gentiles to try to live like you. Paul is like, look, if two of us in this room and both of us just alike, one of us ain't necessary, bro. All right. He said, you can't come in here and make these people conform to your traditions. Are you listening to me? They're not going to do that. It ain't necessary for them to do that either. And Pete, you out of order, bro. You unstable. Are you listening to me? You're trying to run with the rabbits and hunt with the hounds. When you're around them Jews, you act like a Jew. When you come around the Gentiles, you act like a Gentile. But now you're trying to enforce the rules of the Jews on the Gentiles. And these Jews, the ones that killed Jesus. You're supposed to be checking these marks because they're the ones that crucified our Savior. You ain't supposed to be over here in cahoots with them. I mean, what's wrong with you, Pete? What's wrong with you, Pete? You know the whole deal over here. You've been here the whole time. You ain't new. All right. You know all about Jesus Christ. He was your man. All right. He was your boy. All right. They killed your boy. They killed your man. They killed your brother. All right. Now you finna sit here and kiss the butt of the folks that killed your brother. I'm amazed at people, how unstable folk can be. You can be ride or die with somebody, and then they'll get together with the folks that's trying to kill them. Are you hearing me? Or trying to kill off the person who actually created all of the utility that's going on around here. Why? Because that's what unstable people do. And I declare in the name of Jesus, all of us need to remember where we came from. All right? Remember where you came from. You was nutty as a box of rocks before Jesus Christ came into your life and saved your crazy butt. All right? And the only reason you got some sense right now is because Jesus gave it to you. All right? You got some Jesus ability, which then gave you your stability. And don't you start acting brand new. Are you hear what I'm saying? Why? Because you're going to pay for that. Are you listening to me? Stop the pettiness, stop the covetousness, stop the small thinking, all right? Think big, think large, think huge, think like Jesus. Don't let Jesus give you 27 trillion and you go turn it in. Are you hearing me? When Jesus gave you a clean heart and a soft heart, he gave you everything that pertained to life and godliness. He made you a multimillionaire. Now, don't you turn back in your inheritance by starting to act brand new. While trying to impress people, little puny poop butt, little punk folk ain't got good sense. Are you hearing me? This is what's wrong with Peter. Peter's walking around here with these tight butt cheek, pharisaical, straight up self-righteous marks, and he's sitting around here cracking walnuts with his butt. Paul walks up and say, Pete, why are you looking like that, player? Pete like, what you talking about, Paul? He like, why is your butt cheeks so tight? Pete like, what you talking about? You know, wrong, my butt cheeks. He said, I hear walnuts cracking in the back. What was that? Not Walmart, walnuts. What you talking about? Crack, crack, crack. That's the way self-righteous, unstable people are. You can't trust them. Get around you, they say one thing. When they get around somebody else, they say something else. I'm like, you double-minded devil. I'm not going to bother with you. Why? Because when you left me, you went down the street and you talking with Johnny and Robert and all them people over here. What, little poo butts don't know nothing about nothing. And you getting all your advice from them and all that sort of a thing. Then come back to me talking about, God bless you. God, like people call you a coach. Some of y'all coaches and stuff. But the people don't listen to what you're talking about. So tell them don't call you coach. All right. Why? Because they ain't listening to your advice. Why? Why call me coach when you ain't listening to my advice? That means you're a snake. Hey, listen to me. I don't trust you. I'm supposed to be your coach. And then I tell you what to do. And then you go do the opposite of what I said. And you go do what the crowd talking about. They goofy as hell. They don't know nothing. All right. If they knew something, they would already be doing it. That's why you don't follow your followers. You follow your leader. All right. And all y'all leaders who run around here following your followers, I'm telling you, that's folly. Now you listen to me. You messing with unstable people. Now you hear what I'm saying? If they are already knew what they wanted, already knew how to do something, they already be doing it. That's why you ain't got no business coming up in nobody's camp who teaching you something, trying to teach them. I'm like, if you're retarded but knew something, you already be doing it. So move around with that. That's retardation. What is retardation? It's going backwards on purpose. It's voluntary backwardness. That's what retardation is. It's like I volunteer to be goofy. I volunteer to be slow. I volunteer to be haughty. I volunteer to be arrogant. It's slow as hell. It don't make no sense. It ain't got nothing to do with God. Hey, listen to me. I don't go in trying to teach my teachers. I go in learning from my teaching, and I'm so glad it's a teacher to learn something from. That don't mean you can't contribute, but I'm talking about I don't come in with the spirit of taking over. I don't come in with the spirit of trying to act like what they want, what they telling me don't make no sense. Why? Because whenever somebody's teaching you and coaching you and training you, they're gonna always tell you the opposite of what you're doing. Why? Because you ain't getting no results. That's why you came in the first place. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You got people pay to somebody to come learn what they don't know, and then try to tell the person who they paid what they try to teach the person they paid like they know more than the person they paid. I'm like, if you knew it, what you wasting your time with me for? Okay, why? I got better things to do than be talking to your hard-headed butt. You came over here to get some help, didn't you? All right. So I remember when I first was doing financial plan, and this man put all of these questions up on the board and all of these theories about financial planning. When we got through, hey, Mr. Latrice Coleman was his name. We worked for a company called Waddell and Reed in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, an investment firm. I was 22 years old. When we got through, I said, Mr. Coleman, you got a few minutes? He said, sure, Rick. I said, I erased everything on his board. I said, can I put up everything on the board that you just got through putting up? He said, well, Rick, that'd probably take you a little while to get. I said, no, sir, I have it right now. He said, you do? I said, okay. He said, go for it. I put up every single thing on the board he had just put up on the board. That's how much I pay attention to my teachers. Are you hearing me? He said, brother, you're going to do great in business. I said, I just want to thank you for being here to teach me. I didn't come here to teach you. I came here to learn from you what it is that you're putting up on this board so I can go execute what it is that you're teaching me. Why? Because that's what stable people do. Stable people come in to learn, and then they shut up, get in where they fit in, and stop meddling. That's what stable people do. That's why we rich. That's how we got rich. Following instructions. We come into the room, you tell me what to do. All right, cool. Let's go do it. All right, good. What's the next order? All right, cool. Let's go do it. All right. It's just like you walk into a restaurant. And that's why if y'all come to my sales class, I'm gonna teach y'all how to sell for real. I'm gonna teach you how to make millions of dollars. I'm gonna teach you how to stop wasting your time trying to convince people to do stuff and they don't buy nothing from you because you're trying to manipulate the person. I'm gonna show you how to get rid of that petty spirit. All right. Why? Because you've been around petty people. That's how you got your petty spirit, because you hang out around petty people. But we rich, we're not petty. And we're not just rich in money. We rich in love, mercy, faith, and truth, because we believe the Bible. We believe the Bible. We don't talk about the Bible. We live the Bible. That's why we get Bible results. And if you do the same thing, you get the same results too. Are you hear what I'm saying? So if you go in a restaurant and the person tells you what it is that they want, and you tell the person what you want, and then they come back and they just bring you what you want because you told them, then you always gonna go back to the restaurant because they got your order right. What I teach people is how to take orders from folks. See, most people don't like taking orders because they're unstable. But they came into the room to take an order, but they don't even know how to take the order. It's just like being a waiter or a waitress who run around messing everybody's orders up, and you came and signed up for a job to take orders. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? It's unstable. It's double-minded. You came to what? To be ordered around. That's what you came for. Because that's what servants do. You order a servant around. You tell a servant what to do. You don't ask them. You tell them what you want. Are you hear what I'm saying? Let me get some green beans. Let me get some, hey, can I please have some green beans? And do you mind if I can get some ketchup? And that ain't how you talk to folk when you order some food. You just let them some green beans. I like some ketchup. I like this. I like that. Bam. And then the person, if they want to get paid, they do what? They take your order. If you want to get paid, you take orders. You don't give orders when somebody, oh no, we ain't got no ketchup. If I was you, I wouldn't be eating that. If I was you, I would eat mustard because mustard tastes better. That ain't your job. You're taking orders. It ain't your job to be talking when somebody talking to you. It's your job to be listening to what the person is saying, take the order, and then go execute the order and get paid. That's how this life goes. Are you listening to me? And this is what Paul is telling Peter. He's like, man, this ain't your time to be giving out orders. We already got our orders. We got them from Jesus. Jesus said we don't need to be circumcised. So how dare you take Jesus' order, circumvent his order, and then start giving out your own orders? That's just like being in a restaurant. You don't run the restaurant. You don't pay the bills for the restaurant. You know, Paul is telling Peter, you didn't pay the bill for our salvation. Jesus paid it. Jesus paid it all. I, the Savior, say, thy strength indeed is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Lord, you are my all and all. Because what? Jesus, he paid it all. All to him I owe. Sin had left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Jesus paid it all. Ain't nobody else paid the price but Jesus. He laid his life down one time and he paid the price. So this is what Paul is telling Peter. Peter, he said, listen, bro, you didn't pay for our salvation. How dare you come in here and rewrite the order? Hey, listen to me. You a servant just like me. I'm a servant just like you. We just waiters. All we do is wait on people and serve them. Are you listening to me? We don't come in and start giving our orders. We follow the orders that we were given because we're not unstable. We like, Pete, you unstable, bruh. You up here making up your own gospel. You can't tell people they need to be circumcised, brother. You don't have that power. You don't have that authority. That is not. Your job is to do what? Your job is to take the orders we got and then serve the people. And that's how you get paid in business. That's how you get paid in life. That's how you get all your pay in life. You take orders, baby. Are you listening to me? No, you don't run around ordering when you're supposed to be taking orders. All right? You don't talk when you're supposed to be listening. All right. You serve, you get the order, and you go out and execute the order that you got. And that's it. Right? That's how stable people behave. And that's why stable people what? Are capable of doing something. You want to know how to increase your capability? Or put a cape on your ability, learn how to take orders. That's all. Just learn how to take orders, and then your capability will increase. What is your capability? Your super ability to do something. Put a cape on your ability. And Jesus' ability gives you what? Capability, because you become supernatural and able to pull out whatever it is you're supposed to do because you ain't fake humble, you humble for real. You know how to take some orders. Are you hearing me? So Paul is like, bro, you done took your servant apron off, Peter, and now you want to be served. You sitting around here popping your collar, acting like you important, bro. You ain't important. Peter, you are not more important than Jesus, bro. Jesus gave us these orders. And when you run a business and you run a company, people come in acting like they're more important than the company. I'm like, how are you getting paid? You're getting paid because of what? The boss who pay the bills. How dare you come in and try to boss the boss around? Have you lost your rabbit mind? Do you know how unstable that is? Do you see how demonic that is? You ain't checking the boss. You ain't got no money. You ain't paying no bills. You ain't running nothing. All right. You ain't the reason nobody got no company. So when you come into a person's business, then you sit down and let them teach you what to do, and then go do what you told, and that's it. That's what stability is. Stability, it makes millions and millions of dollars because everybody does things fast. Are you listening to me? Why? Because the person came to take the order, and that's all they came for. So they ain't even thinking about not doing the order because that's what they came for. Stable people. Stable people came to take an order. Why? So they go execute it. That's what I came for. Look, I came here so you can tell me what to do. This is you when you want to get paid. All right. So tell me what to do. All right. So then you get the order. All right. So now I'm so busy going to do the order. I ain't even thought about the fact of why you told me to do it. Why? Because that ain't even necessary. Why you told me to do it? Because I'm looking at your results. Okay. You already smarter than me, brighter than me. You already got it going on. I don't. Your stuff work. My stuff don't work. So I'm not going to sit here and waste time trying to figure your orders out because that's an unstable person. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go do your order, and then I'm gonna go get the result of it. Then I'm gonna come back for some more orders. Are you listening to me? You don't come in a restaurant and take the person's order and then go all the way back scratching your head. Why they want some hog maws? Nobody even like hog maws. Why they order chitlins? Ain't nobody ate no chitlins in 35 years. Why they want some cornbread? Don't they know that's too many carbs? And who in their right mind would be taking the order back into the back, trying to figure out why the person ordered what they ordered? Nobody in their right mind. It's you can't be in your right mind. You got to be an unstable person because you're trying to figure out the order that you got. But that ain't your job. Your job is to do what? Take the order and go execute it. And then do what? Come out and take some more orders. And then you got a restaurant that's killing it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You got a business that's killing it. You got a dynasty that's killing it. You got a ministry that's killing it. You got companies that's killing it. Are you listening to me? And then what? Your kids is watching you too. So your kids watch you. They see how good you take orders. Oh, yes, they do. They watching you too. And they like, you know what? Mama unstable. Daddy unstable. I'm sitting here watching the way that they deal with the people that's got authority over them. And the person tell them what to do. And they in the crib sitting here right now at the dinner table gossiping about the order that they got instead of doing the order. And then you retard them because they sitting there saying, oh, so that's normal, huh? It's normal for somebody to tell you what to do and you do what you want to do. They think it's normal. So what, they slow as hell too. So now they can't make a move fast enough and make moves quick enough because money requires speed, velocity, moving in the same direction. Are you hearing me? So don't you sign up for nothing for the rest of your life no more. Go into the person's domain who training you on what to do, and then you don't do what they told you, and then you sit around and gossip at the kitchen table about and bragging about the fact that you ain't doing what you was told and think that's going to turn out good because you curse with a curse that is not going to turn out good. All right. Your end is not going to be good because that is blasphemous nonsense. Are you hearing me? That is not the love of God. That is not the spirit of God. That's not God's way. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? You are an unstable person and you need some help. All right. Get on your knees and beg God for some forgiveness and repent and tell God, I'm unstable. There's something wrong with my mind. I'm insane in the membrane. I'm really thinking I'm going to get these great results without following orders. It ain't going to happen. That's a house that's built on sinking sand. Are you digging what I'm telling you? And you need to check yourself, just like Paul is checking Peter. Are you digging what I'm saying? I follow orders. Are you hearing me? I got teachers, good teachers. They tell me stuff, and I'm like, okay, I ain't never done that before. All right, let's just go do it. I don't be understanding fully why they told me to do it. Not all the time. Sometimes I can understand, but it's called humility is what it's called. So I'm like, but they much more further advanced than I am. So I'm gonna go ahead on and do it, even though it don't make sense to me right now. And I'm not gonna question it either. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead on and do what they told me to do because that's what I came here for them to order me around. That's why I came. It's a blessing to have somebody to give you some orders. Are you listening to me? And then it makes you what? Super capable of doing what other folk can't even do. That's why you end up with so much money. That's how I got rich so fast. I got rich in 3 years. How long it take most people to get rich? How long it take most people to make $1 million? I made $1 million in one day. Why? Taking orders, but letting the person tell me what to do and just doing it, not listening to nobody else. I'm not going to listen to no unstable people and expect to be a stable person. Are you listening to me? Broke, unstable folk giving me their suggestions on how I should do stuff. I'm like, you broke as hell. And you ain't did the same thing 5 days in a row since I've known you. You got 2 different attitudes. 1 minute you're over here, 1 minute you're over there. And you think I'm going to listen to you? I'd be chaotic just like you if I listen to you. Are you listening to me? Because the blind lead the blind. They both going to fall into a ditch. I stopped by here this morning to talk to you up under the anointing of the power of Jesus Christ of Nazareth and to let you know that you can live an amazing life. Are you hearing me? You just stop making excuses and stop being haughty and high-minded and learn how to take some doggone orders and you'll be a stable person. Are you listening to me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? So what Pete said? He said, but when I saw him, he said, man, he said, but when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if thou being a Jew liveth after the manner of Gentiles and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? He said, so who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles? He said, so why are you telling people to try to be like other people? He said, why don't you just tell everybody to be themselves? All right. Yourself in God. Now, don't y'all run around here with all y'all idol worshiping fake gods y'all got talking about Jesus, Brother Ricky said, just let people be people. I'm not talking about that. That's not the scripture. This is Galatians chapter 2. You read it for yourself and don't start drawing no fake conclusions about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in God, you got to let people be who they are in God. You can't be trying to force a person to be like you because they're not like you. In fact, if the eye was an ear, then it would be no place for the eye. If the ear was the foot, it would be no place for the foot. God fitly frames everybody in the body according to his glory. And that's why he put people in the church, put people in the gospel, put people in the body of Christ, in the kingdom of God for the what? For the perfecting of the saints. Are you hearing what I'm whatever you're doing, be glad that you got your spot. And then handle your spot. Because if you don't handle your spot not gonna get handled. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If you don't handle your spot not gonna get handled. It's gonna be instability, schism in the body. Why? Because when one person is unstable, it messes up the whole body. And that's because people not doing what they ought to be doing. You meddling with the next person's. Stay in your lane, okay? And be glad that your lane is different from everybody else's. Celebrate each other's differences. Don't be sitting around hating on each other because you're different. And don't envy the next person's gift because their gift ain't your gift. You handle your business and let God bless you. And don't be no unstable minded brother or sister meddling in somebody else's affairs. Pay attention to what you do and make it rain like a hurricane in your lane. Did you hear what I said? Make it rain like a hurricane in your lane. Make it rain like a hurricane. What? In your lane. You should be so prosperous and prosperous. All right. You should have it going on to the break of dawn so much until it should be an umbrella. You should carry an umbrella everywhere you go. Why? Because it's raining like a hurricane in your life. You're like, I got so much abundance in my life until I need 3 umbrellas just to keep from getting soaked. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Why? Because I know how to take orders. I know how to follow instructions. I know how to execute. And why? And that's why I'm rich. All right? Because you ain't rich because you ain't execute. You ain't executing because you can't take orders. You want to take orders because you're unstable. You're unstable because you're concerned about the respect of men as opposed to the result of obedience. All right? Obedience is better than sacrifice and a heart and the fat of rams. Let's go. He says, so knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ, even we have believed in Jesus Christ that we might be justified by the faith of Christ and not by the works of the law. By the works of the law by the works of the law, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ and not by the works of the law. But by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. He said, but if while we seek to be justified by Christ, we ourselves also are found sinners. Is therefore Christ the minister of sin? He said, God forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. All right. He said, unstable people, they build up again what they destroyed. He said, he telling Pete, Pete, you are building up again what we've been preaching against. He said, you done got together with a couple of little sanctimonious religious marks over here, going through these religious, all of this foolishness, going through all of this, all of these rituals, you all are. He said, and you are building up what we already, he said, look, we came over here and told everybody, man, just have faith in Jesus Christ and live, take care of the poor and enjoy your life. All right, let's have a good time, man. Jesus done set us free. He said, don't you volunteer to go back to jail. Man, when I was getting out the joint, they had the nerve to ask me, wait for a bus. I'm sitting here, it's the day I'm getting released from prison. And they like, hey, man, do you want to wait on the bus? I'm like, well, can I make a phone call? I want to call my mother and my brother coming to pick me up. They're like, you can't make no phone call. I'm like, why? I'm free. This is the last day. It's official. I'm out of here. All right. So it's a phone sitting over here. Why can't I use the phone? But they so anal, they such buttholes until they won't even let me use the phone. But I didn't let that bother me. I was like, man, I'm free today. I'm free today. Ain't nothing y'all can do. You got to open that gate up today. You ain't got no choice. So I was smiling while I was locked up. So I was cheesing when they was going to let me go. But then they had the nerve to ask me. They said, hey, Brother Ricky, it's a bus coming. You can't call your mother, so we don't know if she's going to be here or not to pick you up in time. They say, but it's a bus leaving out in a few minutes. They say, so do you want to get on the bus? I say, let me ask you a question. Are you asking me when you open up the gate to the penitentiary, am I going to sit in here and wait for a car to come and get me? I say, man, I'll walk. Are you hearing me? I say, that's a rhetorical question if I haven't heard one. I said, open that gate up and watch and see what happens. I'm like, open that gate up, open it 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 up. I was like the double jump. I was like ready to jump in, like you jump into some double dutch and get ready to jump. I'm like, open that gate up. Man, I flew out of there so fast you could feel the breeze. They gave me $50 in a hotel room. And they said, get down the best way you can, partner. And if you ain't got your no address in 4 weeks, we're glad to lock your black behind back up. I'm like, you'll never see me again, player. All right. You'll never see me again. All right. I'm up out of here. I'm out of 5,000. They like, what? They gave me $50. You know, they do that stuff to set you up so they can lock you back up. You can't even pay no probation fees with $50. How the hell are you gonna pay the probation officer? No, you got is $50 to your name. But you know what? My father owned every house. My father owned all the banks. My father owned all the hotels. Man, people were so nice to me. People came from all out the woodworks, paying for my room. I'm running around singing, happy. You know what I mean? Grateful, appreciative, and you draw who you are. Hey, listen to me. I wasn't complaining one single day. And I told you why they call it a hotel, because all the hoes are trying to come by and tell me what to do. That's why they call it a hotel. I was ignoring them hoes too. I was like, y'all ain't gonna trick me up. All right, man, move around, trying to get me to come up in here, trying to come up in here, get me to trick off and go back to the joint. Ain't nothing happened. I'm gonna sit over here and read this Bible and be corny and square as hell. That's what I'm gonna be. All right. And whatever God say do, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I'm down with. If you ain't down with that, move around and get up out of here. Don't be coming around here trying to get me to trick off because I ain't jam for it. Okay. So you can have the same attitude because that's the way stable people are. Stable people don't complain. Stable people too busy making it rain like a hurricane to complain. Unstable folk, they complain about everything. One minute they happy, next minute they sad, ain't grateful, don't know how to show no appreciation for nothing. You ask an unstable person a question, they don't even answer the question you ask them. They answer the question with enough. They answer the question you didn't ask. Are you hearing me? I ask people in these lifts all over the country. I'm like, hey man, what's the best thing happened to you since you got to this city? Oh man, the traffic used to be good, but now the traffic all jacked up. You hear what I'm saying? Plus my girlfriend last week. I'm like, player, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. All right. I ain't asked you that. I ain't asked you about your girlfriend. I ain't asked you about the traffic being all messed up. I just asked you what happened good to you this week. You can't even talk about what happened good to you for more than 3 or 4 sentences. That's why it cause you unstable. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Insane in the membrane, ungrateful. And if you want to be crazy and lead this life with high blood pressure, talking about people getting on your last nerve and you tripping and you can't put cheese on a Whopper, keep that unstable stuff, but keep complaining. All right, because complainers are unstable as hell. They don't know if they're going or coming. Are you hearing me? But people with gratitude are very stable people. Why? Because we just grateful things ain't no worse than they are. When they gave me $50 in a hotel, I looked at it like I was rich. I was like, why? Because I got my freedom. That means that what? I can move around and I can go make all the money I want. Okay. I'm like, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move around, make all the money I want because now ain't nothing stop me from making money. Are you hearing me? I would have made money in a joint if they would have sent it there. I would have figured out some kind of way to make some money there. It's always a way to make some money. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? If that's what you got your mind on. If you grateful, God give you ideas about I done had 35 ideas while I've been talking to y'all just now. Now you hear me in the middle of talking to you. That's what gratitude does. It wakes your brain up. Are you hearing me? When you wake up to attitude, when you wake up to gratitude, gratitude wakes up your brain. Some people brain been dead for the last 15, 20 years. They had no thoughts. Why? Because complaining takes up all of the brain capacity. So that person is so unstable complaining until they ain't even got the brain capacity to be able to make no money because they ain't got no thoughts. They ain't got no thought. They ain't got God's thoughts because you can't have God's thoughts while you're complaining. God don't put up with that. God is like, I'm not going to put my thoughts in a complaining brain. Are you listening to me? God is like, it's too many weeds in that garden. I'm not putting my beautiful flowers of and fragrance of fresh ideas into a garden full of weeds. God's like, no, that witchcraft. You say, I don't mix my word in with all that witchcraft. Are you hearing me? So if you want to be stable today, and if you want the blessing of God on your life, and you really want to have it going on to the break of dawn, I mean, you really want to be able to put cheese on a waffle. You really want things to start working out in your best interest, then be grateful and show some gratitude and watch how God will make you way more stable. Your situation and your circumstances, it won't even matter. Why? Because everything you look at, it'll change. Why? Because you change the way you look at everything. And then you'll have a different attitude. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said, I'm rich. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said, I'm blessed. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said they wish they could work it like I work it. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said I'd never go back to jail. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said everybody around me want to do business with me. When I had $50 in a hotel room, I said I'm serving everybody get within a foot of me. Everybody gonna get a song. Everybody gonna get a handshake. Everybody gonna get a smile. Everybody gonna get a hug. Everybody gonna get treated good. And I say, what? I got 100% control over how I treat people. And I'm gonna treat people better than anybody they know around them. At least I'm gonna treat people as good as I possibly can. And if they respond to it, they respond to it. If they don't, they don't. And I was never worried about not having nothing, never. And people came from out the woodworks all over the city of Indianapolis helping me. I had friend after friend after friend after friend after friend after friend, people I'd never met in my life. I ain't know none of these people. I ain't from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm from Chicago. You dig? But it didn't matter because God is all over the world. And no matter where you go, you're gonna be there. So you make sure that you just take one person when you go someplace, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different people. Don't take 6 different people when you go someplace. Take one person. Be one you. Okay. So when you show up, everybody will know. I recognize that brother. I recognize that sister. They the same person they was yesterday, 15 years ago. No matter what their circumstances is like, they was nice when they was broke. They was nice when they was rich. They was nice when they was sick. They was nice when they was healthy. They was the blessing no matter what happened. Their attitude didn't change. I seen them up under the fire, but they didn't get burned. Come on, let me pray for you. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you today for you, Jesus, being so stable, for you paying the price for us. You're a wonderful God. There ain't nobody like you all on the face of the earth. Thank you so much, Lord, for being so kind, so stable. Your love for us has been maintained from generation to generation, from the beginning to the end, Lord, from everlasting to everlasting. Lord, you're the same God. You're the same God. You don't stumble. You don't change, Lord. We just want to thank you that you're just good all the time, every single day, 7 days a week. Lord, help us to have the same attitude towards each other that you have towards us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless y'all. You have a wonderful day, a phenomenal day, a powerful day. If you want to learn how to sell, you can come on over right now. We can have a class. I don't have a link here, but yeah, I'm about to teach y'all how to sell. I'm gonna teach y'all some stuff you ain't never learned before. Ain't nobody training people like this. So if you want to come on over and get some dynamic sales skills and you want to work with us and sell our products, there's an opportunity for you, possibly if you qualify, and depending on we can all get along with each other. All right, so that's right now. We're gonna do that right now as we speak. And if you missed this class and you want to learn more about it, then you send messages to me to be able to get the replay. Because I'm gonna send a replay out for a couple of days. But if I was you, I'd come in live because it ain't nothing like being live. All right. So the class right now, I'm gonna teach y'all how to sell from a biblical perspective, things that you never learned before, how to sell our products. We're gonna pay you commissions for it. I'm gonna show you how to make a lot of money potentially, depending on your attitude, your disposition, and your ability to be able to follow some instructions. All right, I gotta go. For all of you all that's coming over, I'll see you in a second. For the rest of you, have a beautiful day. And remember, the stellar is the stellar does. You are my strength, God. Strength.